Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Check. Mic check, waifu. Telle, is that you?
Yo there, bro there.
This is episode 228 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Make sure you go to patreon.com/MicCheckWaifu to get early access to the video version of this podcast, to get access to our conversational Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Story. And if you're on our Patreon, make sure you link your Spotify to your Patreon so you can get access to the RSS feed, so it's easier to listen to the After Story podcast. You also get access to Take Talks, Mic Check Manga, etc. A bunch of content over on Patreon. Way more content than you'll get if you're just a free listener. So we appreciate it if you go over to Patreon and support us for just $1 or above, whatever you can. We appreciate you. You get access to all that content. Shout out to Patreon's producers. Support us at the Weeb tier to get Patreon producer status. You get your name listed in the credits of the show notes, as well as the description of the video. And you get a shout out like Christian, our archivist, Dre, the GOAT G, Rob from Dad Needs to Talk Podcast. Check out Dad Needs to Talk Podcast. Jay Lee Trey from Show Go High. Make sure you check out Show Go High. Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture and Show Go High. Explicitly, Monique Williams, Nachi, Semi Sensei, Frozen, Saphir, and shout out to T Money Fingers for producing this and many episodes of the podcast. We couldn't do it without y'all. We couldn't do it without people like Johnny. Thank you so much for supporting us for many moons. We appreciate that so much, man. Thank you.
We love you.
Definitely. Mic Check Waifu is the anime podcast is brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CT. And we also, every month, at the end of the month, do a live episode. So November 26th is Mic Check Live 4. So be ready for that. It's at youtube.com/@MicCheckWaifu. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get people over to our YouTube channel. We know 95% of our activity comes from the podcast listens, and thank y'all so much. The hundreds and thousands of y'all that listen to us. We appreciate it so very much. It literally means the world to us. Like, seriously, it's so much support. We love y'all. All right, this is a big episode. This is the midterms for the fall season. Every season, in the middle of the season, we like to give our midterm grades on how the season is shaping up. I know on our live episode, we gave our top 5 must watches, but this time we are going to grade the entire season as a whole. We are obviously going to share some of our listeners from Twitter and friends and other podcasters and see what they think of this fall season. But before we get into that, we got a few things to discuss. Okay. First, I want to start off with asking how my brother Telle doing. That's how we start off every podcast.
Y'all know I normally say I'm doing well. This is a hard week, bro. We talked about why it was a hard week over on Patreon, but yes. It was a hard week. But I'm always gonna push through. It's good.
Episode 71 of The After Story. Make sure y'all check that out if you support us on Patreon. It's a good episode.
But I'm good. The kid's good. Wife good. It was also our anniversary this week, so we did have some good stuff happen this week. It's just a hard week. But yeah, bro, how you feeling?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I got my list of things that I want to set out and do. Posted on Twitter. One of the things that people are excited for me to do is starting The Boys, because I still haven't seen that show at all.
And then Gen 5.
Yeah, whatever that is. Is that what is that?
It's like the spinoff of The Boys, but it's like in the same world.
Okay.
All the same characters, just different. Well, new characters, the same world. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been trying to watch a little bit more TV now that I have a TV. So I spent a lot of time just you know, not because it's like when you think about it, right? And this is funny. I might have bring up this random thing, but I posted off of a tweet that Rob posted. Shout out to Rob J. He's from Shogo High and Inside the Mind of a Blurred. Make sure you check out all their content over there. But he posted, somebody said, give me some more anime to watch to Rob. And he posted Heavily Delusion. And I retweeted it. And I said, this show is a waste of time. and people wasn't a fan of it. But I think about it and I'm like, man, if people knew, I should post my Annie list. If people knew the amount of shit I watch that is bad, that is good, it's literally, like I said, because this is our job. So it's literally all I do is watch shit tons of anime. And Heavily Delusion is not that good. I promise y'all it's not. And I wanted to do a take talk about it with Telle. Maybe we go in like depths onto what we feel about it exactly. I think that'd be so much fun to do. Because we have such a different perspective than everybody else. And I was talking to Aaron from Black Anime, and he was trying to sell me on it and give me all his reasonings and the characteristics of the show. And I'm like, it's not as complex as you're trying to make it. It's just the show is not that great. It is a simple story with no progress being made and no real development whatsoever. And then some grape for some shock value purposes. Like there's nothing too spectacular about the show. I just figured I'd get that off because I do want to say that somebody said that I lack taste. And I found that I like literally laughed out loud because I love what y'all do when somebody disagrees with y'all. Y'all kind of go after somebody's character. I obviously didn't take it seriously because I don't really care, but
they're trying to check your resume and they ain't got no glasses to look.
I was about to say you gotta check my resume a little bit. I watched damn near 1,000 anime, so I got a little bit under my belt. So for you to say I lack taste is tasteless of you. But I digress. Moving on because that's all the airtime that's gonna get.
Oh my goodness!
But besides that, man, I'm doing good, man. Another thing that I'm doing, I gotta beat all the Yakuza games before Like a Dragon Infinite comes out, which is the 8th Yakuza game. I already beat 7. 7 is a whole separate story from the rest of them, but I'm now starting off from 0 to 6, which is 7 games, which is going to be a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm having a good time. I started off with 0, and it's been spectacular. It's kind of stressful though. It's a lot of, I don't know, for those who don't game, Yakuza is a video game series, like a beat 'em up series that is basically it's a Yakuza drama that you play through, and it has all kinds of like little mini games and sub stories. But the story is so like deep, and it's all about betrayal and brotherhood and your setups and snakes and all kinds of shit. It's a deep story that I'm thoroughly enjoying right now. So I'm in down that rabbit hole quite a bit. What's up? You was about to say something?
No, I was looking at. I was actually looking at this week of episodes. Like, there was actually quite a few really good episodes this week, and I'm just.
Oh, he's prepping because the next question I'm going to ask is, what was your episode of the week this week?
Oh yeah, you ain't had to catch me off guard like that. I was making sure I had everything ready. Yeah. My episode of the week is the same as it has been for like the last 3 or 4 weeks, rent free. Untouchable, and just hear me out. What makes Rent Free so good, or Frieren as it's formally called, is how we get the information during these fights.
Love it, man. Love it,
bro. Because we always say we love finding out things as our character finds out, but we're finding out about Frieren as the story goes on, and the way they just kind of divulge this whole like concept throughout, like they trickled it in, they made it known that this is going to be the whole concept or talk of the episode, and then just brought it full circle, man. It was beautiful. And
obviously
the story is a genius
for sure. And obviously in the second half of the show we're going to go into spoiler talks on Rent Free, so be ready for that. We're going to spoil episode 10 of Frieren. It's probably going to be anime of the year if it keeps continuing on this way. But so yours is Rent Free. I'm gonna go with mine's, as something different. There's multiple places I can go because a lot of great stuff this week. But I am going to say that 100 Girlfriends definitely has my episode of the week. And the reason for it is because I just absolutely love, and this goes into kind of a few things I want to talk about, but the difference between two of the shows that are very similar, but very different, right? Like Girlfriends and 100 Girlfriend. Concept is the same. For those of you that don't know, Girlfriend is about a show where a guy is two-timing, or he's in a relationship with multiple girls, and they know about each other, and it's a silly rom-com. It's very funny. It's the dope main character. Like the main character is very honest and kind of like as funny as it sounds, very honest and great quality. Yeah, like he's just his character. He has a great character to him. Like he's all about just being honest and transparent and showing love for the girls that he has. 100 Girlfriends, same main character concept, but the difference between the two shows is that instead of the ring around a rosy that happens in Girlfriend, 100 Girlfriends, it's a real fleshed out kind of relationship between these. In his case, 5 girls?
So far, yeah.
5 girls that is his girlfriend, and they they actually have love, and it's
4, and
it's something about it's 4. It's something about that show that is like obviously funny to me, but like endearing, as weird as that sounds, even though it's a guy who's 4 timing these girls, which is so strange to say, but it's just the comedic beats of it and the progression that it actually has that I like about it. So I decided to give it episode of the week only because of that. But there is something I want to go before we get into the whole deep dive into the show.
What you got, Polow?
So something about it only takes, and maybe you disagree with me here, but it really only takes one episode for an entire show to go to shit.
Yes.
Now, agreed. I tweeted about this because, and then maybe this has been the show the entire time and I'm just now realizing with the most recent episode, but something about this Berserk Gluttony episode punched me in my fucking gut. I'm like, why does this episode suck so fucking bad that it felt so disjointed and weirdly paced and placed. It was awful. It was an awful episode, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, this show has always been terrible.
Yes, the show has never actually been like really good. It's just been like cool, right?
Yeah, it's been cool.
It's never been like above and beyond. It's just been like meeting the bar. Now, I do have to agree, and I think it's the introduction of this like sensei-esque character, and
fucking Adam from left field,
kind of putting in this like almost like this intention of him training and leading to something bigger, right? I feel like this show does better with just letting us know up front. Right? Like maybe just letting us know up front with this specific show, because it's not like this high quality show where we're expecting this fully fleshed out amazing story. You could just let us know from the jump, and then let's move forward.
Even Fate,
the introduction of like the Philosopher's Stone kind of thing. I was just like,
even Fate was terrible in this episode. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, normally it's been chill, it's been easy to follow, and like you said, it's not been great. It's never been great, and we never said it was a great show. It was just good. It was something to turn on and watch, and it was okay. While I'm watching it, I'm just like, what? I even tweeted about it for the first time. Like, usually I wait for the show, but I gotta say, something about this was so bad. Like, what the fuck was up with this episode in particular that just rubbed me the wrong way? It put a bad taste in my mouth. It left me, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
You went in cool and left like, oh, okay, that was not all right.
Yeah, and that's not the only episode that did that to me. MF Ghost did it too. I'm like, we are literally getting nowhere right now. Like, nobody, like, there's nothing happening in MF Ghost that is changing the grand scheme of things. We've been in this race for 5 episodes, and like, It's been what feels like 5 episodes. It's only been 2.5, 3, but it feels ridiculously long to get nowhere. Like they didn't accomplish. Like they didn't give us anything forward. All they did was more explanations of who the other people are, which is cool, I guess. You know, these people are racing, but like we don't need to go deep into these other characters and cars over and over and over again because that's all we've been doing. Like I just want to see the race. Like just let them fucking race. Now
I agree with you on the Berserk Gluttony part. MF Ghost, I don't know, bro. I was feeling it because and I
there's nothing going on
because I was just sitting there and just watching the race. You know what I mean? Because the talk, I agree. What they talking about, especially when it comes to the characters that they are giving these introductions for, they could have done that in the previous deposition when they were giving all the information about the other characters in the 30-person race. Like we know these characters are going to be in the 15-person race or whatever, right? We know these characters are going to be here, so you could have given us all of that then. And then like the tailgating thing, the tailwind, the stream thing. We've been doing that for an episode and a half, like.
That's what I'm like. It doesn't make any sense. It's a 12-episode show, so like, what are we really doing here? Like, you mean to tell me I saw the same sentiment in Crunchyroll comments, which sometimes I like to look at to see what they be saying. Like, what did we watch? What happened? We just got to the second lap and nothing happened. It was literally just a bunch of conversation about other racers that we don't really care about because we're not even going to see.
And the funniest thing is, as you're saying this, I'm thinking about like, damn, how long is this race? I know it's been like at least 2.5 minutes. This race is probably over. And I'm like, oh wait, no, they doing Dragon Ball Z time. They've been yelling for 30 minutes, but it's really only been 10 seconds.
Exactly. It's 2 laps, but yeah, the conversation has just been like, yo, like he's all like, yeah, I'm gonna make my move and we're gonna finish at a higher place. But the entire episode, he's staying in the same place.
And they did give us that moment where he said, all right, let's go. And then that was
the end of the episode.
2.5 seconds.
Yep. It was just, I'm like, yo, this shit is bugging me because that's not, Initial D didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't do that. So it's, a little frustrating. And the fact that it's only 12 episodes and we're going on episode 8 and this is.
You caught me off guard with that one, bro, because I was ready to argue with you, and then I'm listening. I'm thinking about that MF Ghost episode. Like, no, you right.
Ain't nothing.
That episode was just okay as fuck.
Ain't nothing happened, dude. Like that was my issue with Heavily Delusion. Like a lot of times, didn't nothing happen, and when something did happen, it was very minuscule and it didn't mean shit. Like it just, I don't know, man. It's funny to think about now, but it's. All it takes is one episode for my whole perspective to change. Now, I'm not saying MF Ghost is a bad anime now, but it definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. And obviously, we're going to get into that a little bit later. But, Telle, we watch new stuff.
Yes, sir.
What did you watch that was new?
So, hear me out. And this is because y'all know I have a job that I work like once a week over at Best Buy for Geek Squad. And I have a coworker there who told me to watch this Slice of Life because we were talking about Clannad. And he said that he, from everyone he's ever recommended this Slice of Life, so they said it was like the best Slice of Life, best anime, if not Slice of Life they've ever watched. I would definitely say it's the funniest anime I think I've ever watched. Funniest, hands down. It's called Nichijou. Came out April 3rd, 2011. Now, it's definitely the funniest one I've ever watched. It basically
My Ordinary Life.
Yes, how it was explained to me is that it is slice of life, but everything is taken to the extreme.
Oh no, I didn't see this.
Everything is taken to the extreme. The absolute worst of the worst, the absolute best of the best. It is actually, I found myself laughing literally out loud every episode, if not 3 or 4 times in an episode for like 10 episodes straight. It's kind of crazy. Am I going to say it's the best anime I've ever watched or best slice of life I've ever watched? Hell no.
Damn.
Hell no. But it's fun, bro. It's so fun. I have not watched an anime that's actually fun like this. I can't think of one that's actually fun. It's crazy because it's like on like story 30 something, like because each episode is like 4 like little short stories or happenings, and it's crazy. It's really good in terms of like just turning on something, not feeling too invested, but you actually find yourself invested and laughing at these characters. It's literally that though. I can't say it's a South Park of anime because it's not like lewd,
raunchy. Yeah,
it's not like raunchy, but it's definitely funny, bro. Like that 83% score. I even feel like the animation, like there's some animation in there, like for action scenes. That's what it is. It's exactly this. It's the meathead. It's the meathead slice of life.
That's
the meathead slice of life. It's like if you like Dave Chappelle because he got extremes and lows. It's that, but it's a slice of life anime. Not vulgar or anything like that, but it's just it's all over the place, but in a good way. It is. It's that 83% score. I think it deserves that. Like
interesting.
It's solid, bro. It not the best I've ever watched in my life, but definitely I can see myself turning this on and just letting it play in the background like someone would like Futurama or something like that. Futurama or Family Guy or whatever your background noise of choices. Like it seems it's fitting that, and I'm excited to finish this next. What is it? I have 14 episodes left. I'm probably gonna binge them all tomorrow.
Nice.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Nice. And then the one thing I picked up again before we get into Invincible and then the midterms is something called Myriad Colors Phantom World. This one is interesting because it came out in 2016, 13 episodes, and how can I explain it? It has a 65% on AniList, warranted, until the very end. The very end gets so good. Like the last 2 episodes get so good that it shocked me at how good it got, because the rest of the show, the beginning to start to end, is kind of bullshit pretty much. It seems like it just tries to take a page from Monogatari, like with the way it functions and its bombasticness, if you will. But it's about humans. It takes place in the future, and humans are able to perceive this other dimension called the Phantom World, basically. And like now, phantoms roam the earth as normal as humans see cats, stray cats. But there's a certain group of people who's been born and bred, humans who's been born and bred to have special powers to combat some bad phantoms that exist in the world. And it's our main guy who's in this club where they specialize in hunting phantoms with, his friend and a few other girls that he meets along the progression of the show. But his power is very unique, and obviously he starts off very weak with it and don't quite understand it. And as the season progresses, he learns more about it, and it becomes something else. Very interesting show. Very, very pretty looking show, because it's to be fair, it's done by Kyoto Animation.
Yeah. So, same thing for one I just recommended. Oh, is
it? Kyoto is obviously one of the goats because they did Clannad and the one you just recommended in this one, and they're no longer around anymore because of the arsonists in Japan, unfortunately. But the anime is strange. It's very, very strange. I end up falling in love with the characters, even though the show is not good. Like, I wouldn't say it's great at all. But the characters, something about them I enjoy. And again, the last 2 episodes, it was like the show was building up to these last 2 episodes to then punch you in the fucking face. Like, bow, this is what this is about. This is what you get. This is why you get there and what happens. And it's special. It's a very, very special story, like after the end. But when you're watching it, you're like, what the fuck am I even watching? And again, there was a couple of times where I laughed out loud and a few silly moments that I did like. But and they do like a lot of skipping and kind of like bypassing all like the little bullshit you would see in normal anime to keep the pacing up, if you will. Okay. But it's a very interesting show, very pretty too. I definitely like looking at it, and that's probably what kept me invested until the end. And the characters, yeah, and the characters until the end though. The end again, it pulled me in, and I'm like, yo, this shit is actually good, you know. But it was bad for 90% of it. So does that make the anime good? So does that make the anime good because the last 2 episodes were good? No, it doesn't. It gives it a 65%. So it's decent. It's not great, but again, those last 2 are so fire. Definitely made up for it. Okay. Now that that's out the way, Telle, how do you feel about the first 2 episodes of Invincible season 2? So if you haven't watched Invincible season 2, we're going to spoil the first 2 episodes. Okay, so skip past this section. I'm not putting time codes in the description. I'm sorry, but just skip past this section until you hear us talking about midterms. Until we say midterms, when you hear that, that's when you know you start listening again. But how do you feel about the first 2 episodes of Invincible season 2? All
right, first episode first. The beginning 7 minutes of the first episode, I was confused. I was like, what?
Me too. Yeah, me too. What? Because they gave us a recap, a great recap.
Yeah. And then it went into like what this was. I was like, hold up. What's going on here? This is not what I expected.
Right.
And then they went into what appears to be our regular timeline. And I was like, oh, okay.
I felt the exact same way.
I'm less in shock. I'm at ease now.
Exactly. I literally just got done watching, by the way.
Yeah. I was on edge at first.
Yes.
That was and hear me out. I think it was great to begin that way.
Yeah, I agree.
For the impact, and then it kind of eases into like the little slower progression. The first 2 episodes I really enjoyed. I'm gonna have to be honest with that. I really enjoyed it, and the second episode I think had less of that impact because of the obviously how phenomenal, like I said, that misleading intro was.
Yeah.
The second episode, it feels like it's getting to a point where that beginning is going to make sense. Mm-hmm. We're just not all the way there yet. Yeah. But good progression so far. I'm not upset with these 2 episodes at all.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, and this is going to be my only critique, I'm going to get it out the way early before I talk about how great the rest of it was. Some of the acting didn't feel great. Now that's just me nitpicking.
You talking about the blob head dude?
No, just the act. Yeah, some characters in general just weren't great. Like you could tell, like this was either one of their first voice roles, because what Robert Kirkman did is and you could see this when you're watching it on Amazon. You could just pause it and see who these characters are. What I did was I made sure I did that whenever I heard some terrible acting. What he did was he took people that he knows. So people from The Walking Dead, a lot of Walking Dead people are voicing some characters, and maybe they didn't do a lot of voice roles, and it's obvious. Some of them aren't great. A lot of them aren't great. It's quite apparent with some of these characters that it's like one of their first voice acting roles, and that's fine, and that's just a little, again, a nitpick I have, but it kind of took me out a little bit. But other than that, this show is beautiful, man. It's something about the animation I love seeing when people get punched in the fucking face and thrown across the map, or even like, and this is so weird to say, but stupid shit I pay attention to, but like the bowl of food on the counter when his mom is talking to the Russian lady, like everything looks so well done, so detailed and well animated that I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And there's still just so many characters I just don't like, and that's just for like character reasons, like not because it's the show, obviously, but something about Amber I still hate. She seems more tolerable already, though. It seems like that slightly tolerable, but every time I see her say something like my superhero boyfriend, I just like, ugh.
Nah, hear me out, bro. Me and Monique at the same time was like, girl, go somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, I thought I was the only one, because it seems like they're trying to make her more likable.
And I feel that, because like you can't have his girlfriend be something that everybody hates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's going to take away from the MC, because if she's going to be the girlfriend for the foreseeable future, that diminishes his character if she's trash.
Straight up.
So, they got to make her likable. But for me, at this point, it's almost like, I'm not even trying to say I don't like her because of whatever reason or anything like that. But the way that they demonstrated her in the first season just makes me feel like we got to cut ties with this character.
Yeah. And then her whole, I volunteer at the shelter, and then I go to some fucking, do you even know who your combatant is or whatever the fuck she was talking about? Like, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. She pissed me off. She pissed me off so much. Like, I just don't want to hear you talk. I don't want to hear you ever. Another thing that I did love was the whole the argument between between Eve's parents and Eve. Mm-hmm. I think that shit was so good, only because of this like, I don't know why. Maybe I'm supposed to be against what her father's saying, but I feel him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel him. Like, and I thought I would be the only one again, but I definitely feel where he's coming from. Like, yo, these handouts, this fake shit, or quote unquote fake shit, even though it's obviously real, like, that's not how you're supposed to live. And our goal, because she's obviously adopted, our goal is to show you what it's like to live as normal as possible, to give you this normalcy. And here you are feeding me gold 24 karat apples and basically solving all of our. I think her parents are way more good than Eve is, essentially. And I think that's super fucking dope. I think that's so incredible. Incredible writing there for me.
I'm not going to say they're way more good, but I think that their reasoning is very solid. You know what I mean? Like, when you adopt a kid, yeah, you know that you adopt all their problems that come along with them. Mm-hmm. But nobody knows they're adopting a superhero. And nobody is going to necessarily, like, because if you treat a child like they're too special, you don't know what bad problems could come from it. Treat a child like they're not special enough, you don't know what bad problems come from it. And they just want to have a daughter. They just want to have the daughter that they had. You know what I mean?
And he wants to support her.
Yeah, and I get that. I get that entirely. It's like, I want to make you feel normal. I don't want you to feel like all this is actually a thing. And then when it's basically they see that it's not, I mean, she's not normal. She's not normal. So what do you do as a parent in that situation? You got to try and embrace it or what? But I don't disagree with them either, because it's a hard divide, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a line you got to draw. And just think about it. Like, she needs to know that you cannot bypass this shit by creating whatever you want. Look at what she did. Look at what happened to that park. And I'm glad that her father pointed out, like, look, this is what you did with your fucking powers, bro. Like, stop. Just be a kid. Let me support you. Like, let me support our family, like I've been doing, you know what I'm saying? And let's do this right. Like, I understand when you want to go help people, but do it the right way. There's ways you can help without creating everything possible to kind of solve your issues.
Right.
I love that whole dynamic between that whole little small dynamic of the story we got. I think more than anything else that we got. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, what Mark is arguing, like, is fighting between right now, it's kind of a weird dichotomy. It's very, very strange. Like, I understand that he wants to help as many people as he possibly can because he feels responsible for what happened. But it also feels like he should want to do the opposite. Like,
lay low,
not use your powers and fucking, like, because everybody knows it's your dad. Like, it was broadcasted to hundreds of millions of people. So everybody knows it was your dad. So you mean to tell me you going out and fighting crime, but technically a bunch of shit around you getting fucked up, like the Washington Monument and everything else.
Just like your dad. Just like
it. Like, people are going to want you gone instead of being around. Like, you should want to be as and incognito. This is a way they could have written it. You should want to be as distant from that as possible to show that, you know, I'm not a threat to y'all. Because now with you being all out here, it's kind of showing the opposite. I get it. I get you can go either way with this one though. I think it would have been cooler if he was incognito and then he didn't come out until they really, really needed him. I think that would have been a better plot. But
and I hate to say, although it's been used before, but the hero stopping being a hero until he's really needed, I actually don't mind that plot line,
like, especially for this one,
because his name is Invincible. He's not immortal, but he could beat the immortal. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like, nah, bro, I legitimately think that it's a good idea for you to be like, no, I want to be a normal college student. I want to be a normal person, and I'm gonna chill. And the world around him might run into some trepidation and all other kind of problems. And they're gonna be like, look, bro, we need you. We need you. Go be invincible. He's like, no, I'm not trying to be invincible. I'm trying to go to college.
Yeah.
That creates that dynamic where he feels needed, and then the world sees that he's not trying to manipulate them. He's not trying to do the manipulative. He just trying to do his thing.
Right.
So I do think that could be a better dynamic for that.
Right. So in this dynamic feels, predictable. I said it, but I'm loving it. I say it's predictable because I know where it's going to go. Obviously, what happens when at the end of episode 2, you kind of see exactly where it's going to go. He's fucked essentially, or one of him is fucked. I don't really know at that point, but I don't know. I kind of wish they wasn't doing a different timeline thing, only because it's getting played the fuck out with the MCU right now.
Yeah, it's
kind of like it feels like it would be the bad time for that, but just Invincible is just so much better than what's going on right now in the MCU, as far as I'm concerned. That sadly for sure. That I'm just looking forward to each episode now. I think they're going on break in a couple of weeks. I think I saw on Amazon or on Twitter, on Amazon's Twitter, but it's so far so good, man. I'm so happy to have his back. Again, maybe y'all would know, y'all listening, has it always been an hour-long episode, or has it been 30 minutes? I know I could check, but that's too many calories I ain't trying to burn. So if y'all could let me know, tweet at us at MyCheckWaifu. Let me know, has it always been hour-long episodes? Because I feel like it hasn't, but it could have been, and I just wasn't paying attention. But yeah, man, it's good. It's really, really good. I'm so glad that it's back. We'll probably do a review of this one again like we did prior. We haven't done a review in so fucking long.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Maybe we do a review for the live. So maybe
that would be dope. That'd be dope. That'd be just some live reviews too.
Yeah, that'd be kind of sick. So yeah, we'll do that for November 26th episode. I'll do a live review or something. We just got to find something to watch. A lot of stuff we can. I don't want it to be easy though, like something like ReZero, because that's gonna be all tens. Anyway, but I know we gotta rewatch that soon. By the way, so all right, this is gonna be a thick episode. Okay, moving on. The fall midterms, brother. Let's start.
Yeah.
Overall, how are you feeling about the fall? Just overall, no grades, nothing. How you feeling?
The fall is good, bro. Mm-hmm. It's good. I definitely feel like they got some strong heavy hitters this season. Mm-hmm. Obviously rent free. Mm-hmm. Goodness gracious. And the MF Ghost has been good for me. Overtake has been good for me. I know you're not watching Shy, but Shy has been good for me.
Apothecary Diaries is also
Apothecary Diaries.
Anime of the Year contender.
Yes. Doctor Strange has been good for me.
Fantastic.
Even Goblin Slayer has been pretty solid.
I did just start that. I started the dub. So I'm 3 episodes deep. Not bad.
And it's because, hear me out, it's because they introduced a character who has dynamics and wants to progress and stuff like that alongside.
No, if you're talking about the little wizard boy, he fucking sucks. But I mean the group the group as a whole is fire.
Yeah, I mean like the cleric girl, now she has a reason to move forward. She can't move
Got
up.
it.
And stuff. It's
Got
like
it.
they introduce dynamics for progression.
Yes.
So yes, this season has been significantly better. So yes, bro, I think this season, fall 2023 is good. Like, it's solid. I ain't got too many complaints here.
Yeah, same. I would say this. It was better than last season for sure. Like, leagues better as far as new content goes, as far as continuing content goes. But there are a lot of shows that I know for a fact that, even though I enjoy them because I just watch anime. That's really all I do. Even though I enjoy them, I know they're not good. I know I wouldn't recommend them to anybody else. There's a lot of shows like that, right?
Yeah.
But there is, and obviously we're going to talk about some of the ones we got in our tweet, but there are some that you can possibly consider classics already in this midway point. And I'm going to tell you what, man, I think about this constantly as I'm watching different stuff, right?
Yeah.
I like looking at something like, let me give you an example. Yeah, Returns Magic Should Be Special. If a Returns Magic Should Be Special had a budget like Shangri-La, this fucking show will blow the world out of the water. Like, it would blow everybody's mind. If it had Overtake's budget, it'll blow everybody's mind. If it was any other studio than, what studio did this? Arvo Animation. If it was anybody other than Arvo Animation, everybody would be talking about a Returns Magic Should Be Special. The problem is it's not. It's done by some relatively unknown studio. If looking at this studio, I'm gonna go, no. Looking at the studio, they ain't got shit, bro. They don't have anything under their belt. They have Monster Girl Doctor, Arena the Vampire Cosmonaut, and that's pretty much it.
Now, hear me out. The only reason I didn't mention this is because I know we were going to say like what we think most people should watch. And I think The Returners Magic Should Be Special is one that majority of people should watch, because 100%. It actually has been really good. It only had one episode that felt like okay-ish, and it was the Retrieving the Sword episode, really, more or less. But everything else has been like progressive, understanding, developing the world and characters. It's giving me everything I wanted. And if it had that budget, like you said, if it had that budget, I do definitely think it would have a reason to be over the top, and it would be killing it right now. It would definitely be killing it. I can only hope it gets like almost the Eminence and Shadow treatment, where the first season is like, oh, more people like this than we thought, and then come back with season 2 and the budget is higher or something like that. As much as I would want that too, it won't. It just won't, because and I feel you. I feel that same way. Yeah, unfortunately, and that's sad. That's sad to see, because it's special. Even though the most recent episode of Kingdoms of Ruin, is a lot of people talked about that one too. Most recent episode of Kingdoms of Ruin was absolutely garbage. It was so bad, and something about the way they introduced this villain was just the most unbelievable, horrific introduction of any villain I think I've ever seen in my life. It was so bad. Like, I just could not. It gave me plot hole after plot hole. It was disgusting. It made me feel like they didn't really figure this out before they did it. No, that's exactly right. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was so mad halfway through this episode when I saw this villain. I'm like, because what? I felt like it was telegraphed the moment we saw her in episode 2. Yeah, we knew that though. I'm like, what is this? Yeah, we knew it. So don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. But we knew where it was going. We knew exactly where it was going. But it never had to be that fucking just obvious, and then they gave it to us like that. Gross, man. It was so gross. Like, it just doesn't, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's just stupid. It's just stupid, because we know who she is now, and who she is doesn't make sense with the whole it literally that. But hear me out. On top of that, not to spoil too much, we got, I wouldn't spoil anything. I wouldn't say what anything. I felt like was great action before that, right? Because I felt like even what he did to the commander dude, I was like, yo, that's insane. Sure, yeah. But I was like, I was thinking what was going to be next, and then they showed us that, so I was disappointed. Can't even lie to you. Very disappointed.
Shout out to Nachi, because Nachi was like, I think I'm done with this. Let me know when we actually get some progress. And I feel him. I definitely feel him. And shout out to everybody that's in our Discord. Make sure you join our Discord. It's on mycheckwaifu.com. But I definitely feel him, and I really felt him after I watched this episode, because I'm like, oh, you don't like it? That's crazy, because I'm loving it, and a lot of people are loving it with us. Mm-hmm. But I get it, because they do the worst fucking cliffhangers ever, because what the cliffhangers are is just him, quote unquote, dead or dying. It's awful. It's my home hero awful type of cliffhangers. But what was carrying the show was the whole plot, the main plot itself. And I'm gonna tell you this now. His co-star fucking sucks. Absolutely hate her. Can't stand her. There's nothing. It's just, you're just in the way. Yeah. And that's what I feel about that. And that's all I'm gonna say there. But
I'm with you.
It's okay. You know, it's for the most part, it's been good. So I can't take this one episode, even though I said this earlier.
Yes, you can.
And call a whole show bad. But I'm leaning towards that very closely.
This episode derailed where
oh my God, it definitely derailed a lot for me as well.
Momentum. It said, hit the brakes.
It was just crazy, because it was doing so good.
That's disappointing. But yeah, bro. Let's not dwell on negative.
Let's not dwell. All right. Let's get into some of these grades before we start talking about our grades. Okay. We got a lot of people. Shout out to all y'all that came through on this tweet, because from out of nowhere. Let's start with the first person that came through. It was our homie Huey TJ. He says, some shows aren't hitting me as they do. Oh, sorry. Some shows aren't hitting me as they do for others, and vice versa. However, some shows could be potential classics depending on how they end this season. And I asked him, like, so what were those potential classics? And he said Frieren, Beyond the Journey's End, obviously. Anime of the year, probably. JJK season 2, but, you know, do we count that? I don't think we can, because that was last season. But he says it could be mentioned with the Dark Tournaments arc, Water 7, My Hero season 3, etc. Season 3? What was season 3? What was My Hero season 3? That's like on a level of
not Shigaraki. Chizuru. The that was Overhaul.
I thought that was 4.
I could be wrong. No, season 3 was when they got their licenses. Was that season 3?
I think that's season 3. Okay, that makes more sense, because he's putting with dark tournaments and then Water 7, so that makes sense. And then he said Undead Unluck, and he said I just started Apothecary Diary, so give me time to judge where that stands. I agree, but he says B+. Okay, that's pretty decent. And again, it goes to what we talked about earlier. Definitely has some stuff that has some potential classics. Even though I am not feeling Undead Unluck, and I'm gonna talk about that later. I get it. I get why people would consider that to be a quote unquote possible future classic, because of the way it moves like that kind of show. Like you know, I don't know what to say to sound insulting, but maybe you got an idea. But it could be the classic.
It moves like the typical shonen.
Atypical, be usual for sure. But I'm gonna just talk about it now. Fuck it. You know what it is about Undead Unluck? I figured it out as I was watching it.
What is it?
They try to be so cutesy with this whole power system bullshit that is just, it's like you're just talking too much at this point now. It's like, just throw hands. Anyway. All right. A B+ for Huey TJ. I can respect that. Crystal, she says, I give it a B, almost a B+. The majority of my watches are fantastic, with the rest being either okay or good, but not as fantastic. I think I gel with this probably more so.
Yes, exactly.
Because the majority of my watches are fantastic. I concur. With the rest being either okay or good, which is huge, because there's a long list of okay or good that is in my list as well. So I agree. And then we have Silver Ice, VTuber, they say, I think there are some solid shows and continued seasons, but I think hype for next season is pushing me towards a C+ to the B area. So
anticipation already got you pushing it back. Yeah,
exactly. So your anticipation for next season is pushing it back your current grade, which makes sense. I mean, I can understand that. We are good at, what's the word?
Compartmentalizing
the seasons, so it's easier for us to kind of like separate the two. But I completely understand it. And they say, I also like to clarify that I'm only watching 4 to 5 shows this season. So it's coming from a pretty narrow view, but I am interested in Apoth Diaries and Frieren, but I haven't had time to start them up. So I don't know where it stands in that mix. And I guarantee you that C+ or B will be a B+ or A when you watch those.
Man, because if you watched only those 2 this season, you would have an extremely skewed view of what this season had to offer. Because you'd be like, this was the best season of anime in a long time.
Absolutely. And we understand not a lot of people can watch 26 shows a season like we can. But like, what the 4 shows you pick, if you pick in Undead Unluck, Frieren, Apothecary Diaries, and let's just Eminence and Shadow, since it's a continuation as well that came out, you're sitting at an A. You know what I'm saying? Because if you like stuff like that, you're definitely sitting at an A already. If you just think about the most obvious stuff, you know. Simi Sensei says, Rent Free is out here hitting. I can't lie. And for the season, I say a B+ or so. Also, he also asked, and this is something we probably should have put at the beginning, but I digress. I'm gonna put it here. Shout out to Semi Sensei, one of the producers of the podcast. He says, also, what do y'all think of the Yu Yu Hakusho live trailer? I did watch it. I wish I would have saved it for Patreon like we normally do, but that trailer is fucking fire. I'm not gonna hold you.
I didn't even watch it.
Dog, it feels like so much fun. It feels like such... and I accidentally came across it because I thought it was fake. You know how people be doing those, live action fake stuff. So I watched it all the way through and didn't realize it was from Netflix. So I was mad confused when I saw that. I'm like, wait, this is real? And it was fire. It looked fire. It's all whole Japanese cast. It's very Japanese for sure. But they, what did people say for One Piece? But Oda is involved. It seemed like the creator was involved in this one.
Yeah. Oh, so it does that. So for you, it actually seems like the creator was involved in this.
100%.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, they probably learned from Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Frozen says, another one of the Patreon producers. Shout out to you, Frozen. Thank you. He says, I'll say A-, just based on the 6 or 7 shows I'm watching. This season gave us Apothecary Diaries, Shangri-La. Apothecary Diaries, Frieren, and Shangri-La. So I'm eating good over here. Definitely. Shonen Bumps, which I didn't even know Shonen Bumps or Shonen Bump is from Akron. He's from Akron, Ohio. Which is crazy. I didn't even know that. Ohio. Those of you that don't know who's listening, we're from Cleveland, so.
Went to University of Akron over here.
Yeah, he went to the university. I basically went there because I was there all the time. But he said it's an A- for me. The good thing is that the good is great this season, and even the okay shows are kind of good. Why? No, you know what? I might gel with this one more. The okay shows are kind of good,
Yeah, like, that caught me off guard.
He's on to something. He's definitely on to something.
Shows that we didn't think were good got better.
Got 100%. Sweet. And then moving on to Rob J, who's a frequent mention of ours, one of our favorites. He says, Kingdoms of Ruin, Our Dating Story, Undead Unluck, Shangri-La, Deranged Detective, Tokyo Revengers have been hidden all season. I also heard Dr. Stone, Frieren, Shield Hero was going crazy. Yeah, easy A for me. Listen, you got to watch this most recent episode of Kingdoms of Ruin, but everything else you are on fucking point. And again, even though I disagree with Undead Unluck, I get why people would say it's fire. Like I truly do get it. It's just not for me. Shangri-La,
I even think like Ragna Crimson.
Oh my God, yeah. Ragna Crimson. Yo, yes. How could I even almost forget about that one? That was one that I started off with. I'm like, that first episode being an hour, it didn't need to be. I was like, this might not be that great. Because normally when they're not that great, the show end up not being that great. But this show is so good. Like
it's kind of a sleeper.
It kind of is a sleeper that no one's talking about. Ragna Crimson is on High Dive, man. Make sure y'all watch it. It's fire, man. It's actually really fire, especially with what happened at the end of this most recent episode. Crazy. And then last but not least, Dad Needs to Talk from Dad Needs to Talk podcast, another producer of the podcast. He says, fall is an A for me. We got some top quality watches with some solid mix of good shows too. A solid mix of good shows to pad it out. I do think that the sheer amount of shows has led to stuff not getting as much attention, but hopefully people will circle back once the dust is settled. Yeah, that's valid, man. Like I said, we can watch 20, 30 shows a season, but I know a lot of people can't. And there's, again, stuff like Ragna Crimson that are just getting swept.
Going under the radar.
Yeah, getting swept. So, truly special. You know what's funny?
What's that, bro?
Nobody mentioned Spy Family.
For what?
Just period. In the midterm grades. It's just, Spy Family just didn't get even a peep.
That's still airing?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, ain't it? It's sad because I like the show still. Like, it's not a bad show. It's just, what do you watch it for? You know?
Yeah, they could have just dropped the whole season and I could have just binged it.
Oh my gosh. And that's exactly what I'm gonna end up doing now because I'm 3 episodes behind now. I'm gonna just binge the rest of it if I remember to.
Yeah, I'm not even, because it's not that the show is bad. It's not even that. No. It's just, it's a nice clean watch. It's wholesome. It looks pretty and animation is good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Just drop it all at once so I can just binge it real quick.
Yeah, man. Or give us some fucking kind of sense of progress, man. It's pissing me off. I want to know what happens between the East and the West. All right. Or is it, I don't remember. Is it North or South? I think it's East and West. East and West. Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah, so those are all y'all grades, man. We appreciate y'all for participating in that. And a lot of y'all, to be honest, I couldn't agree more, man, with what y'all saying, because I'm right there with you. All the great shows are fucking fantastic, like top tier classic type anime. And then the good shows are even not, the okay shows are good shows. Like, let me give you an example, Telle. Take a trip with me to what they call summer season. Mm-hmm. Take a look at the great shows in summer season. Bleach, Jobless, Masamune Kun's, and then the good or the okay shows. Dreaming Boy is a realist. Am I actually strongest end up being bad? Dude, yeah, My Tiny Senpai ended up being okay, but it's just okay. Like there's no good okays. Like maybe Reign of the Seven Spellblades, even though it went in a weird direction. But like compared to what we at now with our okay shows, looking at some of these okay shows, and if y'all remember, usually I should have remembered to tell to write down a grade for last season because I can't remember what it was, but I think we gave it like a C+, and majority of our listeners did as well. It'd be hard for, dude, even the okay shows are so good here. Like 100 Girlfriends.
Yeah. It's hard to compare any of the previous seasons to this one so far. Like if we going over the whole season, because this season, so this season looks real good actually. And obviously we still have some bangers that we've gotten this year, but I don't know, bro. It's having Rent Free and Apothecary Diaries in the same season. Crazy.
It's wild. And then this Dr. Stone part 2 is fucking.
Yeah.
Like to me, they had one episode maybe that was a slight step back, but it wasn't like a miss. I don't think that has missed yet.
Yeah. And then you pad it with stuff that's like as good looking as Undead Unluck, and you know, it has the hype with it. Obviously, people gonna fall into that.
I heard Tokyo Revengers is doing real good for people.
And and then you have like the undercover hits, and this is like an undercover hit for me. A playthrough of a certain dude's VR MMO life. That's an undercover hit for me. And I know it ain't for everybody.
Yeah, it's definitely not good.
It's not good. It's not good, but it's something you could just chill.
Yes.
And I wish my MMO life would go like this. I wish that when I turn on the MMO, this is how I could play.
Exactly. And that's what I feel like. How can I explain it? Because the show isn't good. We know this.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's good. It's my undercover hit. You
can watch it and just be like, I like this. Like it's a bad show that we like. And again, it's not against anything that we are. It doesn't state our entire like taste of anime. It's just it's something about it that's just comfort. It's comfortable to sit back. It's good to just sit back and watch it. And I have that same feeling, bro. I have that same feeling when I'm watching 100 Girlfriends. Like I sit back and watch it with a smile on my face, and I enjoy it. It's the pleasantries of the problem that they have to conquer, and then you got even my daughter left the nest and became an S-class and returned to S-class adventurer.
Yes, bro.
I enjoy that so much. The dynamic between her and her father, which just ended this week, which I'm sad about, but I love that show. For some reason, I turn it on and I'm pleasantly surprised. Yeah.
Our dating story is your sleeper, and it's also still
fucking banger, bro. It's so good. I kind of think the drama wasn't as dramatic as I thought as I wanted it to be. You know, I'm a messy slice of life fan. So
you are. I ain't want that mess, bro. I ain't gonna.
You like the turnout of it? We'll get into it later.
That something worse.
No, you're right. You spitting. But yeah, no, it's fucking good. And what's funny is that the same way you feel about the VR MMO life is the way I feel about your sleeper.
Yeah,
it's not good, but
we know it's not good.
I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching every episode that I've been seeing so far. Judge me, man. Maybe I got terrible taste with that tweet say. You lack taste. Maybe I lack taste.
What did you say, bro? You and hear me out. The funny part is you was so against it.
No, I was never against it. I always said it was bad. It's terrible. Yeah. But I can watch it.
It's definitely bad, bro. It's definitely bad. But it's like it's funny because the story they tried to put on the main character in this most recent episode, I was like, I get it, but come on, man.
No, I get it too. I 100% get it because like when they explained it and the way he reacted was kind of cool to me in my opinion. Like I liked it. Yeah. Like he was, instead of him going with his father, being the one to go with his father, he had his sister go in his place so he can play video games. Oops, spoiler. So who gives a fuck? Y'all not gonna watch this anyway. So he can play video game, and that scarred him. Obviously, his sister can't fucking walk now, and his dad is dead. Like I think that's a dope. I mean, not dope. It's obviously sad, but it's reasonable. It's reasonable, and it's top. Like I can follow it. It's everything about the show is terrible though. The looks, the way it progresses. Like I don't even know why we end up going to this festival, or
do we even have an antagonist?
Yes, we do.
But like, is he and I mean, he's an antagonist, yes, but he don't feel like a real antagonist. He feels like someone who wants to get to know our MC.
Nah, he told him to forget about his sister and forget about not gaming. Like you're antagonistic at that point because his sister that's his family. You know what I'm saying? I might want to forget about my family just so I can fucking play video games with you. Like, no, I'm gonna play video games for my family. So he's very like, it's very strange though because it's like, why would he even be bothered by that? Just look at him and say, no, the fuck is wrong with you? I'm going to play still, yes, but I'm not doing it for you.
Or I gotta get this money.
Yeah, or getting rid of my family. Like it's a simple fix, but you know how anime gotta have their issues. But yeah, man. And again, I watched 3 episodes of Goblin Slayer. I cannot watch Goblin Slayer Slub. I tried. It doesn't. To me personally, it doesn't sound as good as it does dub. Dub is fucking fire. Like Goblin Slayer's voice in dub is incredible. I wonder who he is. I forget to look that up every single time, but what a great voice actor he is.
And are you caught up on Overtake as well?
I am caught up on Overtake.
How are you feeling about that as a whole?
I like the characters a lot. I don't
care
know
about the race.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing with the races more so. I just know that the characters and the drama within the characters are way more important than the races itself, which I like more than the races itself. Because again, I don't fuck with Formula 4 at all. But like, I love the photographer character, dude. And you remember when I was talking about the show earlier, how I said his reasoning behind it didn't really feel that impactful to me. When they explained it deeper this time, I felt it more. Yeah, I definitely felt it more because he's like, you had time to take this picture, but you couldn't go help her. Like, I get him getting fucking beat over the head with that. And he's like, fuck, could I have helped her? You know, no, you couldn't have. Like, there was shit. Absolutely no way you could have. But I get why people would be upset at him for not, you know, because if you're not a photographer, you don't understand. Like, it doesn't take no time to take a picture, and for that it just snapped. It looks like it was a photo that was just snapped, and it was unfortunate. But if he would have went down there to quote unquote save her, he wouldn't be here now either. So like, what do you want from him? You know, kind of deal. But I definitely understand his PTSD with being behind the camera and shooting. I mean, if anything, being behind the camera, period. Not just I can't shoot people, but I wouldn't want to fucking take pictures at all. But I get it. I like it. I like it a lot, man. I like it so much, actually. MF Ghost still better in my opinion, only because I like the racing in MF Ghost and like the nostalgia of hearing characters' names who I've watched in 2008 back in Texas, funny enough. So that's a little bit different for me in my perspective, but I do like Overtake a lot, for sure. Definitely. It could definitely be a classic too. Like Huey TJ said, I could see Overtake becoming a classic like Initial D or something like that because the characters are so likable.
Yeah, and they leaned into that visual fidelity to make it feel like high quality when it's not racing. Because when it's racing, I think it looks okay. You know what I mean? I think the racing looks highly okay, but the actual like characters themselves, they have all the color and impact in them. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and when people are emotional, you can see the smoothness of the movement in the animation. Is beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, let's
go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and when they get into the camera, every time he gets into that mode where he takes a picture, it's like they amp up that like frame rate just a little bit or something. Like the motion just seems so much better in those specific ones.
Yeah, because it's the depth of field that they portray within the camera's mirror. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Okay, now, you got Attack on Titan final season part 3, part 6 at the end of it too. So people love that as well. Okay. Let's start putting grades to some of these shows, and then we're going to give our overall grade. We can run through it quick. So, looking at the fall season, let me go back to my watch list. All right, I'm going to start here. VR MMO Life, C. Oh, shit, okay. The Forbidden Deductions, B for me. B for you. Eminence and Shadow,
A-.
Yeah, A-.
Yeah, A-.
Interesting. I'm gonna give it an A. Dr. Stone, New World Part 2, A. My Daughter Left Nest and Return to S Rank Adventure, C+. Okay, both C pluses.
Okay.
Rising of the Shield Hero Season 3, B. Oh, B+. Okay, B for me. You write this down, right?
No,
fuck you. Okay, we'll just give our overall grade. Just make sure you get the overall grade. Goblin Slayer. I only seen 3 episodes, so it's hard for me to give a midterm grade.
C+.
But I'm gonna give it a C+ as well. Yeah, I'm right there. Our Dating Story for me personally, B+.
B+. I agree with that.
Rent Free, A.
A+.
A+. Undead Unluck,
B-.
D. The Kingdoms of Ruined.
B minus.
C. Girlfriend season 2, which you're not watching.
I don't know.
No. Definitely a C plus for me. Gotta remember my grades. Okay. A Returner's Magic should be special. B plus for me.
B minus.
Ragna Crimson. B plus for me.
A minus.
Apothecary Diaries.
A plus.
Protocol Rain.
C. Minus.
C minus for you.
Yeah.
C for me. Shangri-La Frontier. C for me.
Plus.
Overtake. B.
B minus.
100 Girlfriends. B plus.
C plus.
MF Ghost.
B plus.
B plus. Berserk of Gluttony. After this most recent episode. C.
C plus.
And you still got more on your list.
Okay. Shy. B minus. Saints Magic Powers Omnipotent. B minus. Did we say Goblin Slayer?
We did.
Yeah. Firefighter Diego. C.
Wait, you got to the midway point with that?
Yes.
Wow, interesting. I thought you would have dropped that by now.
No, I think that's all I got now.
So?
Oh, no. Kami Irabi God app. D.
You didn't watch half of that.
I did.
Did you really?
Going through all the stuff, yeah.
You're disgusting. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. No, I'm just kidding. I'll leave the judgment, Judy. I can't yuck your yum.
You can.
Yeah, so overall grade for you, Telle.
Season as a total B.
Yeah. For me, if it wasn't for probably Undead Unluck and Protocol Rain, yeah, I'm at B plus. B, actually B, a solid B. Not B plus because I gave Undead Unluck a D just to be a troll. But
I mean, no, I can understand why someone would give it a D if I'm being honest. I don't think it's a D, but
it's just a lot of fucking.
It's a D.
There's a lot of fucking talking and just like you're trying to be cute with your little power system and it's not cute. It's convoluted and annoying.
I feel you.
Anyway, well, that's our grades, man. Our grades are B's.
Yeah. Also, I put my grade down before Polow, before we even actually did this, because this is what I felt about the season.
Yeah, and I feel like it could be higher, but I can't count stuff like JJK. I gotta remember that.
Right.
Oh, we almost forgot as well. Or I almost forgot Pluto. That's probably a C. And then Attack on Titan.
Castlevania.
I didn't finish Castlevania or even get to the midway point.
Okay.
Attack on Titan. How do I feel about
it? All right, let me get mine first. Attack on Titan. I'm gonna say B minus.
I'm gonna go C. I'm about average with it. Definitely average. Yeah. For sure. All right, let's take this quick break. And then we're going to damn, it's already about to be 1:00. That's crazy. Then we're gonna spoil Frieren. Our dating 10. Yeah, episode 10. Dating story, episode 6. You want to throw in Ragna Crimson?
Yeah, let's do that.
Even though ain't no anybody watch it. Episode 7. All right, we'll be right back after these.
Major, don't go. Oh, Major, don't go.
And welcome back to episode 228 of Mic Check Waifu. About to spoil episode 10 of Rent Free. Bruh, I think what you said at the beginning of the show is it perfectly encapsulate exactly what I feel with the way it puts in story or backstory within the show was brilliant. It was every time something like this happens, it makes me think of that overhaul season of My Hero. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the worst seasons of My Hero that there ever was, because of the way they try to do it and the way they like. It's a world of difference because it all matters for the main plot of the story. I love it so much.
What makes the way that they give the contextual historical context, the way that they give this and they set up even the powers and how the power system works here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because this is a development of the power system, which 100%. Is the development of the world in this. What made it so cool was that it went straight to a character that they already established as a legend within this world.
Yes.
That they already established as someone who is amazing and lived 1,000 years ago, but is literally still creating waves in the world currently, right?
Yes.
And to think that they've built up this villain that we have, and we clearly know that Frieren said she's stronger than Aura. It doesn't matter. She's stronger than Aura. But we get to see why.
Yes.
And we get to see what all that patience and time and training was cultivated for. It puts so much like character growth and like it puts so much character into one person. Like literally, this is 1,000 years of a character.
Yeah.
It makes Frieren, and hear me out. Frieren is kind of one of my favorite characters in anime, period, right now.
Yes, I agree.
Because her 1,000 years of life does not feel empty, even though she acts like she's kind of fucking empty, bro. Like, we can see through every episode that there is so much life in her 1,000 years that it's like, it almost feels like she's really living 1,000 years. She has really lived this life.
Yeah.
That's what makes this anime so amazing, is the characters.
What makes it so amazing to me is obviously what you said, but I'm a stack on top of that.
Let's do it.
It's the progression of her characters in this small frame of time that don't mean as much as whatever she had in the past. Like whatever she had in the past was huge. I mean, from obviously training with the strongest mage there ever was to then destroying the Demon King to now at this small section of her life. I mean, this is fucking a minuscule amount of time for her life, but her character growth through this small amount of time with Fern and now Stark is so massive. Even though they're not doing nothing as nearly as detrimental as killing the Demon King, she has more growth within this little bit of time because of what she did in the past. And again, beyond the journey's end, after the journey's end, quote unquote, it's when she finally realized she should really do this a little bit differently and live a little bit differently, and how she's going to manage that now that her party that she was closest to, more than anybody in this entire world, she was closest to them the most. Yeah, she was essentially. Well, her master she was with for 50 years or so. So that she was a little bit closer to her, but I digress. But 1,000 years past that point, she then meets these other people she was closer to, and all they were trying to do was get her to understand how important time is, because it was nothing to her. And to see that growth with these characters has been on so fire. And then on top of that, to particularly discuss this episode, I love when it's simple. Just control your mana. If you control your mana, then it'd be easy enough to fool these idiots who believe that their mana has to be showcased to show their level of wealth, basically.
Yeah.
I love that. And
even their context for how why they constantly showcase it. And it's so crazy how they develop it. They talked about how it's like dignity for them. It's literally like their entirety of their life. If they had the goal to dampen or show like they're pretending to hide their power, it would be disgraceful for them. And it's like, I get it, right? Because they're explaining that this is basically a monster. They're still monsters. They just look like us. They act like us, but they're still monsters. And it's like how they do that is crazy. And then to even talk about how they can detect the tiniest changes in your mana, but they don't care. They're not hiding it because they have to. And it's like they have that ability. They have the capacity. They could do it, but they can't.
Yes, they can, but they can't. So it's crazy.
It's like that's part of this world that's so good because there's so much depth and everything feels so thought out, bro.
Yes.
Like these are character flaws and entireties of this race of creatures, and it's so cool. Even to the point where we get to that go ahead. What you about to say?
No, go ahead. You finish your thought.
Even to the point where we get to this final boss fight of sorts. And they're saying, like, we go back and we get that conversation from the original mage that Frieren was learning from. And she says, you're going to spend your entire life fooling demons. And we get to this point where she's fighting Aura, and they're like, no one has ever had more mana than Aura. She's been around for 500 years. She ain't made her place in history for 80 years. And literally the whole context of that, you can't spread your name in history until after you defeat the Demon King. Of course, you ain't heard her name for 80 years when she been around for 1,000. She's been fooling demons. I'm like, yo, this story is amazing, bro.
Yep, it's incredible.
A plus. I think this is like, I don't know how they can do this for 24 episodes, bro. This is gonna be crazy.
It's 28
episodes. 28 episodes.
Yeah, it's fucking spectacular. And this is one of the ones where it's like you feel like, I can see how it can be 28 episodes. But you can also be like, yo, this is one of the greatest like stretches of anime probably in a very long. This might hit top 10 easily because of the simple fact is, like, if you're continuing this level of beautiful progression within 28 episodes compared to something like Ragna Crimson has 24, and it feels like it's dragging to be 24 for a particular reason. I love it, man. I just fucking love it. I'm so discombobulated right now because there's so much I want to say. Okay.
But you feel me though, right?
I definitely feel you 100 fucking percent. What's so good about this is, or not good, what's so sad about this is that Frieren Stark is a fucking, like, how much longer does Frieren have to live, for one? Does she get older ever? Like, I love the way they like establish the world. This is what I was going to say before because you was on the roll and I didn't want to stop you, but I was going to say what they do so well is what Overlord does, or what it seems like Overlord does, and that's develop the world first. Mm-hmm. They set up the world first before they give you the characters, and then the characters are popped into the world, and then they flesh that out on top of that, like on top of the world itself, which feels like it isn't done as often. And when it is done, and I could be entirely wrong, but this is just the way it feels to me. When it is done like this, it just feels so good to watch.
Yeah,
because like establishing the fact that demons focused on slaughtering the elves. We even got that tidbit of information, which is really important, which is why there's hardly any elves in the world now, because 1,000 years ago they was exterminated by the demons for the most part. Like,
elves were a big threat.
Elves were a big threat, and this is why, because they can live long enough to then train to get enough mana to then defeat the demons, i.e. Frieren the Slayer. It's impressive, man. It's impressive that little tidbit of information establishes such an important piece of what this world is and what makes it so incredible. So perfect. Might be 10 out of 10.
Might be 10 out of 10, bro. It's looking like a 10 out of 10.
It's looking like a 10 out of 10 for sure.
Sheesh.
All right, let's slide over quickly to the next one, which is our dating story. So far, so
I'm
good.
Happy.
Yeah.
I did not want that messy mess, man.
I thought it was going to be messier. I kind of wanted it to be messier because that's the kind of shit I'm into. But I'm glad it didn't either, because I love these two together.
Yes. They deserve all of the happiness. And even to see that, like, she felt like she knew him better than that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because, like, and I'm going to be real. I'm one of those people who, like, trust is important. Like, I feel like if you feel like you can't trust me, then I'm like, what? You can't trust me? Like, I ain't no traitor. I ain't like that.
Right.
To me, that's imperative. That's important. So it's like, for her to say, well, from his actions already, he ain't never shown me that he's like that.
Yep.
I get whatever PTSD she have, trauma she got, whatever relationship she had in the past. He ain't never shown me that.
Yeah.
I love that. That to me made this episode fire enough within itself. I was like, the character's development in that process is amazing to me.
You want to know what made it fire to me?
What was that?
And this is so minuscule, dude. It's so minuscule, but it's so important to me when it comes to like slice of life to have this detail in it, or this much detail in it, was her explanation as to why we didn't hear from her. Right? Yeah. Like when she sat him down and was like, it wasn't that I didn't want to talk to you. It was that my phone was broken. Yes, because I dropped it. Obviously, they showed us that. But it's also because I wasn't ready to hear if it was true or not, because I don't want to lose you. And I'm like, damn, dude. My heart. Like I felt that shit. Like I felt her. Like she's like, and I didn't rush to get it fixed because I wasn't ready to hear the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I wasn't rushing to get shocked.
Exactly, or to be hurt. Like, and it's so understandable. Like, because before this, like normally when a situation like this happens, it could be the same reason the phone broke, but it would never be explained in this much detail, right? Like, I think that little piece of information that she gave him, like, listen, I didn't want to feel that, or I didn't want to believe it to be true, essentially, because to her, that's still my boyfriend, you know? And I fucking love that. I love the fact that she wasn't quick to run to another guy or something like that. Like it would be in the messy shit that I like.
Man,
she's definitely fun. But who do you think took the picture? That's the one thing that's got me like, wait.
I think, and hear me out, I hate to say it, and I know it's not. It shouldn't be this person. I feel like it's the best friend.
Nicole?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And the only reason I say that is because I don't really have much context for anybody else. So it's got to be Nicole, or it's got to be someone who likes the sister.
And my thought process,
it's got to be Nicole or somebody who liked the sister.
I thought it was somebody who likes the main girl. I gotta get these names. Luna or Runa. I don't know why it's Luna here, but her name is Runa in this show. I don't know which one is because L doesn't exist in Japanese. That's why. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's somebody that likes Runa.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the simple fact is like, how would it spread like that though? You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm thinking. Like maybe it was because it couldn't have been Maria, right? Because could it have been her? Because she blocked and deleted him.
Yeah, but she didn't take the picture. You know what I mean?
Could it have been her? Though, you know what I mean?
Because
how would she do that when they left together?
She could have had a friend do it, but I'm thinking like,
I didn't even think about that.
They could have, because they did make it seem like she did something, right? Like they gave us like a short clip of her and the block, and then I think they did one more scene. I can't remember exactly what the scene was, but they did one more scene where it made her look shifty in like that moment.
Yes,
because they did go to that park, but I can't remember if she led him to that park. And that's what made me want to figure out if she did it, because I feel like she led him to that park.
Same. That was my thought. It was either somebody that likes Luna or Runa or her. And I can't think of anybody that likes Runa to do it. So, because this show would give it, you know what, you could be right, could be Nicole, but no, because if Nicole would have saw that, she would have popped out on the heartbeat. Like, yo, what the fuck is this? And then told.
But not if she got ulterior motives where like, she like, nah, I want my friend to myself and I'm tired of these dudes. I don't know, bro. I really don't know.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It could be, but I don't think so. I think I don't think she wants her towards. I think she's literally just looking out for her.
I hope that she's a good friend.
Yeah, no, I see it because the way she talked to him when he was like explaining to her, like, or she was explaining to him her past and how she smiled at him like, yo, okay, I feel good about this type shit. Like it was very interesting. They're about to be working together for the summer.
That was dope.
That's gonna be dope. I can't wait to see what happens next week. I love this show. I think this show is better than it's getting credit for. It's 65% of the annual list. It's way better than that, in my opinion.
For sure.
And then, like I said, I love the character dynamic between these two and the way she just explains. Like she's like, listen, I didn't want to know the truth. I also knew that you wouldn't be that type of guy, like you said. And then, what was the other thing she said? Fuck. Oh, it was the way she broke down how he is with Maria, like
people.
Yeah, exactly. Like you wouldn't just leave her to cry. So like I get it. Like I know the type of guy you are. That shit was so dope.
That was great. That was great.
It was perfect. All right. And then
that level of understanding.
Yes, man, a level of understanding, which is rare. I'm gonna speak that from I'm gonna speak that from experience. It's very rare to have that level of understanding. All right, Ragna Crimson. A show that's not getting really that much love, but it has a 71 on any list. Huh. That's interesting. It's done by Silverlink, which is also doing Mission Yozakura Family in 2024, which I'm looking forward to.
All right, bro. Let's get to the meathead side of this.
It's very fucking dope to see him demolish that Monarch Queen. But it's also very dope for her to survive it with the way she did it by rewinding time.
Itself, like, of the world itself. That was, and it's crazy because it made us see that there's kind of like rules and stipulations to her powers.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But it's also cool because it's like it sets a precedent for like, yes, the monarch is strong, right? Mm-hmm. But that Tempest Dragon dude seems like he might be stronger. Not only say that in the regard of like, he said, if you ever come across somebody like me, you're gonna have a problem. The rest of these fools, you can do whatever you want, but with people like me, I'm different. And we found out that Ragna's different.
And he's like him.
And that was insane because even obviously in the episode before, he popped off. This episode, it was like finishing off that pop off, and it was like he hit her like maybe 4 or 5 more times in less than a tenth of a second is what it was explained as, that he moved so fast that even her time control didn't even have time to set up for her to do anything. Yes. Yeah, it was good. And even the slime had his little role that seemed pretty good too.
Right. But then after she rewinds time, and I love this little tidbit of her saying like, only my subject should be able to move, after he's able to move and almost gets to her. Mm-hmm. Because of the fact that she put just a little bit of her blood inside of him, I guess. Not
even technically him, it was the future him.
Yeah, which is him, obviously. So that's why he's able to become free. Mm-hmm. Because of the future him's power is inside of him now. It's definitely complicated, but yeah, it's fucking fire the way it happened. And the fact that she got PTSD during that fight that she had with him from being killed over and over and over and over and over again, and she was just in shock the fact that he was still able to move, because of that was everything she had. That was all she had left to be able to survive this. So if he would have got to her and was able to kill her, she would have been done, because she used literally all of her power with that last rewind.
That was probably the scariest moment of her life.
100%. It was the most hype moment for me.
Her trump card got outdone.
Yep. It was the most hype moment for me because it was her trump card. But then I knew that shit was going to come down to where it went down to, because he was fucking going off.
And you know what, though? What you said about her having that PTSD was extremely cool, because it was that, did he just twitch? No, I'm tripping. He didn't just twitch. I can see his movements. He's extremely slow, but the fact that he can move when I stop time, and then it's the full out sprint, and she was shook. And they actually handled that extremely well.
I agree,
because of the emotional impact of him body bagging her over and over and over and over. It's insane.
It's so good, man. It's unbelievable how good it is. Now that Veronica or Crimson himself is in the mix, I cannot wait to see what the fuck is about to happen now. Because with Crimson there, we know what Crimson can do. Crimson can die over and over and over. He can fucking just... Actually, we don't know what he can do, to be honest, at all. So we have no fucking clue as what's about to happen. We know he's the reason why Silver's or Ragna's future self is inside of his current self, his power, his ability. This next episode might go crazy, because he's like, Ragna has done everything he could to weaken the monarch. So all they really have to worry about is the kind of subordinates and then whatever power she has left, which I don't think she has anything left in her tank. She's like, I'm fucked at this point still. So I am so looking forward to where this goes. But the problem is man, you could tell they milking this at 24 like they are in Shangri-La.
Yeah, what are they going to do for 24 episodes of this?
I don't know, because it seems like it's coming close to the end.
Already, yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I mean, there's still a lot of dragons left, though, when you think about when we looked at the, this is weird to say, when we looked at the past future.
Like 8 of them, 9 of them, 10 of them, something like that?
Yeah, so like half of them are already dead, including the wind guy, the guy that was there that killed, what's her name, before he swapped. So there's still like 5 or 6 left, per se. Counting the Wing Monarch and the 2 that's with her and then the one guy. So, I don't know, man. Very interesting show. I think it's definitely worth watching. We might have to try to get people to start watching this or something.
Yeah, it's worth that. I think that 71% ain't bad, bro. I
agree.
It's worth watching for sure.
I think that's right where it's at, too, which is funny. But, yeah, man, I will say this, though. That King's beam, whatever the fuck that is, seems dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Body bags for sure.
But what's not dangerous is that I'm at Polow Bornfly on all social media.
I'm at King Telliano on all social media. You
can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram and TikTok. And as always, Mike Check.
Bro says something.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu. Polow and Telle. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?